have no idea what I'm doing. I didn't even take any notes.
Oh, I got plans. So.
This is really loud in my ear.
Sure, you probably can buy it now or
15 seconds.
That's fine. Welcome back to the Nub. I'm Immerse,
It's Felton.
and we've been on a bit of a hiatus. I guess personal lives and all that kind of stuff going on, but we're back, and hopefully we'll be back every, whatever day of the week this gets put out.
Every week, every month, whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, So a couple things. First off, Felton and I are going to be playing D&D together.
Woohoo.
This will be the first time in many, many years you've played D&D, correct?
I played in middle school.
Mm-hmm. So you probably didn't even play proper D&D. It was probably like, all right, you roll this, and you win.
Yeah, no, and there was no anything really to it. It was just like
no
us
demigorgons
sitting down.
or
No, and
did
the
you go
funny
into
part
the?
was
Did you fall into the? Was it the under?
the underworld, the Undertale,
Whatever
the
it is.
Undertown. I don't know.
The upside down world.
The Barf Slugland.
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't. But the kid that was the GM, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
he spoke Orcish.
Oh, see.
And I was like, oh, all right.
Don't know if I could actually handle that. I don't know if
I
can
gotta
handle...
go. I can handle a lot of things. No, I can't. That's where I draw the line.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. Like if somebody were to bust out some Orcish now, we're at the table, we're playing, and they're like, and my character who's a half orc, says blah blah blah, and he actually busts out with some Orcish. I might be kind of impressed. I might be like, all right.
The way that it came out, he's like. It's like Narvich Blondjov. That's basically Orcish for fuck you. And I just the kind of condescending way he said it is really what took me aback. I'm like,
well, the funny thing about that is that Orcish language, if there is a real Orcish language nowadays, would have been drawn off of Tolkien, who actually developed a Elven and Orcish. And I think another language, from scratch, he based off of some other languages from what I understand, but he actually created all these languages for his stories. So I could not really see Tolkien sitting around in the 1940s, 1950s, just chilling at his desk, at the university, writing these books, on his typewriter or by hand, and just going, now what would be the Orcish word for fuck? You know what I mean?
I bet it's gonna sound like this.
Yeah, I don't know, So if somebody were to actually say that to me, I'd be like, really? So that's Orcish for fuck
Can
you,
you?
huh?
Where's your citation?
Yeah, exactly.
Can you show me your citation?
In MLA format, please? Can I get
Please,
your
can you write a
works cited?
paper in MLA format? Oh, I hate this whole thing about APA now. Everybody's down with APA. When I was in school,
You down
it
with
was
APA?
MLA.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about anything about APA.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just kind of like, well, I guess I just get to fail at everything ever now
Yeah.
because I have no idea.
Well, that's the whole thing. Is that school wants to set you up for failure. So,
Bunch of
we
assholes.
don't want you to win. We don't want you to get an education and get a good job. And all
No,
that kind of
just
stuff.
get in debt, and well, that's a whole other discussion.
All right. So how do you feel about? Obviously we haven't actually played yet. We just had our D&D character creation night, and obviously that's more like a cram session for school, before a final.
I really felt like I had not prepared for an entire semester for a final advanced test in mathematics and lore and just all this stuff, and it was just
all of
very,
your college classes have come together to form one big FU test.
Yeah, that's really what it feels like, and the whole thing is I get hung up on the dumb stuff oh, what should my name be?
Yeah.
Oh, what color should my hair? Oh no, I'm stuck up on that stuff, and it's
And we're trying to do real stats.
But you got to do your stats.
Yeah.
You're wasting a lot of time. Ooh.
If you want to actually play the game, you got to have some abilities and stuff. So let's work on that.
Yeah, but I got to have my appearance.
But what kind of shirts would he wear? I don't want him to be frilly, but not necessarily straight leather.
Yeah, it's got to be something, something that's nice, but
a nice,
not too nice.
gentle cotton. So tell us a little bit about the character you'll be playing in our D&D session, our D&D sesh, as it were.
A sesh. Okay, it's a sesh now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, his name is Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
I've based him on a character from a Joe Don Baker movie, which was in Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Mm-hmm.
I hate myself for that sentence. That sounds really, really.
And you're knocking on this dude who speaks Orcish.
Yeah, right. I guess. I have no place to judge. But yeah, he's going to be a half orc,
Mm-hmm.
and he is going to be kind of well, speciesist. I guess it would be speciesist
Yeah.
toward orcs.
Yeah.
So he's going to identify as half human, and the whole.
Well, they're still considered racist, so I guess he would still be racist.
Maybe racist, yeah. But the whole time he's just going to be dancing around the fact that he's half orc, and he's going to awkwardly always refer to things like, "Oh man, oh it's great being human. Oh, these human clothes are really comfortable. Oh boy, here I go being a human.
Yep. I like eating dogs, like humans will do.
Yeah, Hey, you know what I'm talking about. Like sometimes your kids, they get out of line, so you gotta eat them.
like a human will do.
Yeah, like humans do.
And didn't you say that he doesn't refer to himself as half orc, right?
No, he refers to himself as half human. Well, I'm half human, so I'm pretty much just regular old human.
I think what we need to do is I'm gonna post that picture of after this podcast comes out of your Photoshop version of the character, because I mean, you guys have to see this. It's priceless.
So I took a really bad picture of Jodan Baker, and I think maybe it was from Mitchell. I don't know, but he's just making this kind of doofy face. And I photoshopped some orc teeth on it and some like orc eyes and made his skin gray. Because in the description it said half orcs, their skin are gray.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
Well, half humans.
Half humans, their skins
As it
are gray. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's gonna be a pretty fun character to play.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing when it comes to playing D&D, for me, it's the role playing aspect of it. Like the fighting is just like you have to get from point A to point B, But the whole role playing part of it is where I have a good time. So I look forward to that. So that being said, I mean Thursday nights we've pretty much been doing a game night every Thursday night, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to talk briefly on here about like how I feel like that's kind of an important thing. I think it doesn't have to be every Thursday night, but like at least once a month, you should try to have like a game night at the house, invite some friends over and stuff like that. Because we've been doing like, I've been cooking, we've been kind of like BSing and having a good time and joking around, stuff like that.
Tacos and
chicken tacos.
Chicken tacos and
which I mean, I don't want to brag, but those are pretty legit.
Man, and then the what was it last
Baked
week?
ziti?
The baked ziti.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good, but there was a lot of gluten in that.
Yeah, there was.
Ooh,
Oh,
boy,
you must have.
I was bleeding the next day.
Ooh, sorry about that.
It was so good. My insides are just like, hey,
They're
you
just
haven't eaten bread in 2 weeks. Let me remind you what happens. Blood.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Does
Born
the
and raised
Healthcast?
Italian. You just something you can do about that. Back to the health cast. So yeah, tell me.
Healthcast. Well, let's see. I did karate for the first time last night in
Oh,
over
yeah?
10 years.
Oh yeah.
And I found out that 10 years of age, injury, and lack of movement really makes life harder.
Now I would like to say that I took karate, but I really didn't. I just mimicked the crane kick thing from the Karate Kid 100 times as a child,
Yes.
which is close enough. And I try to catch flies with chopsticks,
Yep.
so that's close enough, right? That's pretty much
I really
karate.
think I saw this fan theory on the Karate Kid
Mhm.
about how Daniel,
Mhm.
the main
Yeah.
character, is
Daniel.
actually the bad guy.
Daniel-san. I've seen that. Yes,
And
how
let me tell you,
yeah.
that is such a compelling argument.
Well, he does an illegal move when he does the crane kick?
Not
isn't
only
it?
that, but he's
Isn't that
just,
illegal in
he's
the
just
karate
doing
tournaments?
Yeah, he's just doing stalkery and illegal and immature things the entire time.
Yeah.
And this the bad guy kid is like defending himself. Really like the other kid didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, I've seen something kind of like that for the Gremlins,
Yeah.
and how the kid in that, who I can't remember his name. I want to say it's another Daniel, but the main character, no, Mike, is it Michael maybe? Anyways, the main character in Gremlins is basically making a whole race of creatures extinct. Like that's the whole concept of it. Like they've become prevalent, and they're just they're mindless creatures, and then with
Some
their
of them seem to be sentient though. Like
but they are creatures though, and
Yeah.
he's wiping out an entire race of of creatures. So, anyways,
they should have gotten science involved.
yeah.
Could've been
Well, they did
Gremlins.
get scientists involved, and he got eaten.
Oh, more science.
Yeah.
Bill Nye could have handled it.
Oh, Bill Nye would have
Well, then he
rocked
would have
that whole
made some.
town.
Then he would have made some weird ice cream video
Yeah.
about different genders of gremlins
and had some really strange, almost ethnically offensive giant rat
yeah.
helping him out the whole time.
Oh,
All right, so yeah, I feel like game nights get back on track.
that just clicked in my head. Oh, that really is
Yeah,
offensive,
just
isn't it?
it's almost like Mario from Super Mario
Yeah.
Bros. It's a me, Mario.
Hey, this is a stereotype of how I talk.
This is how all Italians talk.
Yeah.
So, all right, Netflix.
Mhm.
Disappointed me beyond belief with
Iron Fist.
With Iron Fist, yeah. I mean, that should have been like El Iron Fisto, and it should have been like a Mexican or even just a Hispanic novella, because that's what it felt like for
So-
at least the first majority of it. Like a bunch of rich people fighting over money, basically. Like he barely used his fist, and when he did, it was on like helpless guards and shit. Like
Oh, and a door.
at a door, yeah.
He punched the shit out of that
That door was not asking for
So
that.
here's my problem. We were just talking about how the Karate Kid was actually the bad guy
Yes.
in the series.
Iron Fist is definitely the bad guy.
Can we talk about how he's the bad
Yes,
guy in the show?
he's definitely the bad guy.
So
They're just trying to run their business. Oh, are you going to bring up the part where they're having a business meeting, and there's actually nothing illegal or bad that the company is doing, but he
Yeah.
comes in there and he's just like, oh, wow.
Why do you gotta do this? No, I was gonna bring light to the fact that as a pharmaceutical company,
Yes.
they release a non-addictive, non-overdosing alternative to heroin,
It's
which
funny.
single-handedly
Because you made this point last time on the,
Did I?
the last time we got together for the
Oh.
podcast. Yeah, it's like
it's just complete, absolute ridiculous.
something that they've been looking for years. And
Yeah,
they,
it'd be like it would completely. I mean, if anything, cure people's addiction.
non-addictive,
to,
yeah, it's
to
non-habit, yeah.
opiates. The ultimate end-all, beat-all drug
Mm-hmm.
that really would solve a lot of problems in society. Like for example, countries that run harms reduction programs would love something like that.
Yeah.
And what does he do? He goes and pisses all over their Cheerios.
I'm
like,
telling
we
you.
can't have the drug. It's bad. Like, I'm not advocating drug use, obviously.
Yeah,
However,
but this is like one of the problems with drug use is that because you become desensitized to the drug, you have to increasingly take more of the
and
drug
that's what
to get
causes
high.
the overdoses.
Exactly.
And let's be
like
real.
this was a safer alternative. Like they could have probably weaned them down from this, and this could have been used for detox and withdrawal.
Oh yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
so, and here's Danny Rad in there. Like,
He's
hey,
getting-
oh, wait a minute.
He's getting the chemist that makes it killed. So there you go.
So
like-
actually, the Hand really is like the good guys in this, in this series. Like,
he's evil. He's bad.
these ninjas that are supposed to be bad guys are actually like they're good Samaritans.
They're doing
like,
a good thing,
Yeah.
helping people with addiction, and he comes in and ruins everything.
oh my
What a
goodness.
dick.
So they released a show, and this is it's not necessarily nerdy per se, but I binge watched the hell out of it. 13 Reasons Why.
Okay.
It's a story about a girl who commits suicide. I'm not giving anything away here because they tell you in the they tell you in the like little description of it. She commits suicide, and then she makes these tapes, and there's 7 tapes, and 13 sides, and those are 13 reasons why she committed suicide. And it's like pointing fingers at this person, that person, blah blah blah, this other thing. Now, I did enjoy the show, and the way that they handle her actual suicide was phenomenal. Because it was not like it wasn't like a pleasant, like I'm just going to go sleep now, night time, and kind of like romanticize it. I mean, I'm not gonna give it away because I want people to actually watch it. But man, it was just like hard to watch,
She decapitates herself. On a
No,
rail
not
spike
that
or
not that
something,
bad,
like-
but it's difficult to watch, right? But the whole time I'm watching it, I'm kind of like, this chick is whiny, and the whole time, like if she had just said to somebody, like one person, like, hey, doing that's really gonna screw with me, like maybe the person would have been like,
Maybe.
okay, well, my bad,
I'm a jerk. I mean,
Yeah.
you kind of got to bring light to the fact that I'm a jerk sometimes.
So
Sorry,
like
my
I'm
bad.
watching this whole thing. I'm like the memes that came out after cracked me up. Like there's a meme. It's like the main character name is Hannah, and she asks somebody if she can borrow their pencil. And like, oh, I'm sorry, that's the only pencil I have. And then it shows her like looking like really serious at the person, and it says welcome to your tape. It's like that's kind of what it felt like watching the show. Like some of the things that she has a gripe with. I mean, she has a legitimate gripe with some of these people, obviously.
Yeah.
But some of them I'm like, really? Like that's just I don't know.
kind of maybe like it just kind of snowballs at some point, like
But here's my
toward
thing.
the littlest things. Really
Here's my
switch
thing. I
on.
keep hearing rumors, and even from like the cast and stuff like that, they're going to do a season 2. Now, here's the problem with that.
already kind of blew the shtick, didn't they?
The girl kills herself. How are they going to do a season 2?
Well, it would
Like-
obviously be another, suicide or something.
Oh,
or
you think it's going to be like a
whatever.
whole nother, like
Yeah.
a copycat
Well,
girl
kind of
or
like
a copycat
the
boy?
Killing,
Or,
right? Every season was a new
Yeah.
thing, or like
I guess,
one
yeah.
of those shows, Turns into a weekly series. It's
It
just
doesn't
a
need. It
suicide
doesn't.
a
They
day.
sometimes you just have to let things let things die.
And you know what I think?
Let things die.
You know what actually that drives me nuts about that is Jeff Goldblum did a series, and I don't know if I've ever talked about it before, but it was called Reigns, right? And his the shtick of the show was he kind of had like some type of mental breakdown. So whenever he would work a murder investigation, because he was a detective, you see, and whenever he worked a murder investigation, he would, like, his brain would build a ghost of this person, and the ghost would follow him around and help him, like, you know, kind of like a talk to, right? So he would have a new sidekick every episode, and it would be the victim. And the only way he could get rid of him would be to solve the murder, right? And the ultimate thing was the whole, like, first season, he's talking to his partner at the bar, and you think, oh, the partner's retired. But no, he's actually a ghost. So, you know, this show's been like 8 years. So it's, you know, no, not giving anything away. If you haven't watched it, you're just a piece of shit. So, so the last episode, or the episode before last or something, got such dog shit ratings because it dealt with like a child getting raped and murdered.
Ooh.
And the show just kind of went, boo. Like, nobody liked it. They were just like, that's bad. Oh, so apparently
that's ultimate chaos theory right there. That's like
the Nielsen families that watched the show were like, nope, we don't like this. It's a touchy topic. And
they're like, why is the guy from Jurassic Park in a show that has to do with people being raped?
Why is it child rape murder? Which, you know, a lot of people really, and you know, he solves it, and you know, it's sad, but whatever. Yet this show is like, you know, girl kills herself, and everybody's freaking out about it, talking about how great it is. Yet, you know, a show like Reigns a couple of years ago was a really good detective show. I enjoyed Jeff Goldblum in that role.
I think it's how it's presented.
Yeah,
you know.
Well,
like,
it wasn't
like
presented in.
This show's a precautionary tale, whereas that show was. I mean, obviously the kid was raped and murdered. I mean,
well, I don't know if the kid was raped and murdered, but the kid was definitely murdered.
You just put the rape part in there. Just like, I mean, if he's murdered,
it was terrible. That's what I was trying to say.
raped.
But the kid was definitely murdered.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it was just kind of, you know, it was definitely a very emotional episode. Like, even for me, I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, this is horrible.
Yeah.
But I thought, you know, at the time, I'm like, wow, you know, Jeff Goldblum, what a hell of an actor to be able to deal with that such heavy of a topic in a show.
Let me tell you, Jeff Goldblum, aside from his
absurd laugh,
you know,
and absurd mannerisms,
and he can't get a sentence out because he's so busy doing this for 6 to 5 minutes of this.
Yeah, it's gotten,
you know, and I would just hate to see him and say let's
he didn't do that in the show.
Let's say, you know,
he did. It's not that bad.
Christopher Walken, the two of them together in a detective show. You know, it's you know, like, Christopher. Like, did you see this? Did you see the body on the floor there? Like, we should probably. I would imagine we should check that out. I'm just, you know.
That's almost a combination of Jeff Goldblum and Christopher Walken.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. Had this uncomfortable hunk of metal in my ass for 2 years.
Clean every day.
But yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. Jeff Goldblum in, what was that? I think it was Mr. Frost or something like that, which a lot of people, you know, get it confused, or not get the movie confused, but, you know, when I've told people about that, like, wait, isn't that like a killer snowman movie? It's like, no, it's a different movie, but I think it's called Mr. Frost, but it's actually based off of, like, England's second serial killer, like, that they actually caught, and he's Jeff Goldblum plays the bad guy, the serial killer, and the beginning of it is about them kind of like catching him and arresting him and things like that, and them talking to the detectives and such, and that was fantastic. And then it later gets a little crazy because, you know, he says he's the devil and stuff, and then it becomes very oh, there it is right there. Yeah, it becomes very strange because all these strange things start happening. But it's a really, really good movie.
Yeah, you're right, Mr. Frost.
Yeah.
Oh, he looks really young in that. Holy
yeah, he
shit.
is. And he doesn't do that speech pattern in that movie. He's not like, so apparently he thinks that's part of the characters that he's playing. They need to have that speech pattern.
Oh, I really would have liked to have seen him as Doctor Strange. That would have been interesting.
No.
I
think Cumberbatch was
he did great, but what I'm saying is, you know, they're going to eventually reboot it. Let's reboot it with Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum would be too old.
So, true.
Yeah. All right. Well, 13 Reasons Why is definitely something to check out, but the chick is going to sound kind of whiny. So I'm almost done with the original Naruto, right? I'm on the 3rd season of it.
Yes.
There's 52 episodes in the 3rd season, and it just it's taken me so long because of anime filler. Do you know what I mean when I say anime filler?
Just like the dumb stuff that they throw in.
Kind of. Like, I think in the animes that I watched when I was younger, I think this is why it upsets me so much, because they didn't really have it in the animes that I watched. You know, I didn't see a lot of it in, like, Vampire Hunter D and things like that. And that's probably why there was only a few episodes and things like that in each season, because they didn't have all this filler. But basically, Dragon Ball Z has the best anime filler, I think. You know, where they have 3 episodes of one guy screaming while he puts together like some kind of attack.
He's got getting pumped.
Episode 2. Episode 3. And then he fires whatever it is he's been trying to save up and misses the bad guy altogether.
Yeah, 4 episodes later, and he just blows his load and it's done.
Exactly. So
then they cuddle and then it's fine.
Yeah. They kind of lick each other's eyes deeply.
Should we continue?
So Naruto has some of the worst anime filler. They do this thing where they rehash the last like 3 minutes of each episode. Now keep in mind, each episode is only 22 minutes long, right? Their opening for the episode is probably a good 2.5, almost 3 minutes, just in the credit stuff, you know. Then you've got another 2 to 3 minutes of recapping the episode before, which is only 22
6 minutes.
And then at the end, they have another like 3 minutes of end credits, and then another minute or two of letting you know what's going to happen in the next episode.
So there's like 10 minutes a show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's mostly filler. You're just watching the same crap over and over again, and it drives me nuts because it takes like something that should take 1 episode to accomplish. They're doing over like 6 to 7 episodes. So, from what I understand, the Shupen, or however you say it, the next version of Naruto that I'll start watching after this doesn't do that as badly. But man, it's driving me nuts because it's like, okay, all the ninjas have cool powers. You know, there's like a good story going on there. There's like all this interesting stuff. You know, stuff that gets kind of emotional and stuff. You're like, oh my god, this is really good.
Yeah.
But this goddamn filler.
No, that's true, and there has been other series that have done that a little bit, but not to like an extreme extent. Like I know.
Well, I've noticed though that a lot of other shows that I've because I've been watching a lot of not newer anime, but I guess anime that I missed out on when I was younger because I'd gotten out of anime for so long. But some of these other shows that I'm watching have, like Bleach has a lot of filler. You know, like
I never got into that.
I like it, but it's got a lot of the filler. But like say an older anime from like the 80s and 90s, like Ronin Hakushin, has like no filler. Like each episode you need to watch because it's moving the story along. So I could probably skip 2 or 3 episodes of Naruto and
still be able to know what's going on.
still know exactly what's going on.
Trigun was all right. Now
I could not get past the voice acting in the.
Well, I watched
first,
it dubbed.
I might have to if I'm
I
going to
can't
watch
do
that
the
show.
voice acting for that or Rurouni Kenshin.
But
Kenshin was
Full Metal
just
Alchemist, I don't see a whole lot of
dump.
that filler going on. That seems like a pretty interesting one. I've only seen like the first like 3 or 4 episodes, but
Yeah, and I know Kenshin always had a recap. It had the intro and it had the outro, which maybe would be like 8 minutes.
Rurouni Kenshin?
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like they have that filler though. It doesn't seem like, at least not in the show itself.
Well,
like,
I remember I watched it. When I watched it, it was fan subs.
Oh. Okay.
And it was like the original cut from Japan.
Oh, okay. So maybe
So-
they've cut all that stuff out. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But I always remember that show being just the best.
Yeah, I love that show. That's one of my new favorite
The
shows.
movies, I actually really like the live action movies.
I have them downloaded. I haven't
watched the second or third one yet. 'Cause
Yeah.
I thought they made a
Well,
trilogy.
Foxtail loves Rurouni Kenshin. It's like one of her favorite animes, So she's the one who got me kind of caught up on some of these. She doesn't like Naruto per se, but I just got kind of into that one because I really like the powers and stuff. All that stuff's kind of cool. But
Ninja Squad?
so okay, let me know if you do this because
No, I don't.
MegaCon's coming up this month.
Yeah.
Right. And I've got a couple of cosplays that are nowhere near finished.
Yep.
Foxtail's a couple of cosplays that are nowhere near finished.
Yep.
And as we get closer, we start that cosplay cram.
Yeah.
I know that talking to you about this isn't on the same level because honestly, I see you start your cosplays, months in advance, and you probably do your final tweaking. But is there any cosplay where you've done that where it's like the I call it the cosplay cram, where like the last like week or two, the last couple of weeks beforehand, you were just like,
Well, the first time I did Beetlejuice, it was actually for Halloween. And
Okay.
I had done it for a Halloween party.
mm-hmm.
So I just got maybe like a throw-off, one-off thing.
Yeah.
And then I ended up liking it so much, I made like the head prosthetic, which I've since torn apart because I'm sure you've seen the old pictures of how it looked.
Yeah.
And so I had the head prosthetic, and it was good, and it accomplished the task. But then that was that thing where, it was so sloppily put together, I wanted to redo it.
Yeah. And since then, I mean, you've made some fantastic adjustments
So
to
I
it.
think, I mean, I really wanted to have Rick done, but since my space is kind of crammed right now due to unforeseen circumstances,
You'll be doing the cosplay cram too.
I might be doing the cosplay cram, but I might not be finishing Rick for MegaCon. That might be Dragon Con only.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, I'm hoping to have all mine done for MegaCon because it'll be my first time really going and cosplaying. You know. So,
I actually got I got my hotel booked, which
Did you?
I got the $99 hotel.
yeah.
So I
You're
don't
gonna be
know.
like 4. You're gonna be like 4 miles away.
Actually, it's actually not that far.
Okay.
Hold on, we're gonna pause.
I
this
do
show real
apologize. Well, I do apologize because I don't know how we got mixed up there. Because I was saying to make sure you get the hotel.
You know what? I probably just like got so excited that you guys were gonna go and stay there. I was just like, oh, I'll stay with them. What's coming? And I could tell you that I guarantee you that's what happened. So here's right here. Here's the Rosen Center.
We're looking at right now. We're
Hotel
looking
right
at where
there.
the hotel is in relation to
Now
the.
here's
Oh yeah,
Orange
you were
County.
right there. Yeah.
So I'm right there.
Yeah.
So it is one of the host hotels,
Yeah.
and it's got total.
For only $99 a month.
3
You
stars.
did. Woo.
Hey, but whatever. I don't know which one it's going to be at, but I'm thinking
Yeah.
typically it's right here.
I think so. Yeah.
But
But that's all. Well, no, it's right there.
right here.
Yeah.
So it's this one.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's even.
Yeah.
Shit. I was gonna go. There's one for some reason my mouse. Was
My
scrolling
hotel
over.
is.
Oh fuck.
I hope I didn't just pull myself out of the.
Hold on, I can check.
Am I still
Say something.
recording right now? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, there we go.
Okay. I felt like I might pull my my
Oh, for some
mic
reason,
out.
my mouse no longer is doing the middle mouse grab.
But anyways, yeah. I mean that's
Oh, okay, there we go.
so.
You're right here, right?
Felton, myself, and Foxtail will be at MegaCon, and we'll obviously do some sightseeing and stuff there, and we'll report back
Oh, you're right.
on our cosplay.
Oh my God! Okay, so there's the parking garage right there.
Yeah.
There's a parking garage for you guys that don't know for Destination Parkway.
Yeah.
It's right across from the Hilton.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fantastic location for parking, just to let you know.
Yeah.
But where I'm staying is right there.
Yeah.
So it's not
It's
that
not that
far.
bad. You can walk there. It's not a problem.
Now we parked one time. I remember we were up in here.
Yeah, it was bad.
That was brutal walking.
like in the
that
grass
distance.
and everything like that. And yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we did the same.
And
thing.
I wore V that day.
Mm-hmm.
My
Oh, you
boots
must
were
have been
still
hating life.
pretty new. I had raw blisters on my feet. I think we stayed
now-
like 4 hours.
Those that are listening, you have to understand his V costume is fully encapsulated because he has the mask, he has a big wig, he's got the hat, he's got a little, it's like a cape, right, and then like boots and I mean
The
it's
dagger,
ooh.
the mask is
yeah.
thick.
Ugh. All right, so
Stifling, anyway.
that's some ball soup by the end of the day for you.
Oh yeah. Oh, Gold Bond. Let me tell you.
I bet. Just
Bring that
sprinkle it
can with you.
everywhere,
Gold Bond spray. You're
right?
good to go.
Spray even better.
Oh man.
So I've been thinking because I feel like the nub is sitting stagnant right now. I'm looking for suggestions, and hopefully anybody that's listening can kind of chime in, leave some comments,
Oh,
or
I have a.
send a personal message. But I really want to build up the nub. I really want to make it bigger. I don't know exactly where to go with that, and it seems like you've got some ideas already.
Well, I've been watching Space Coast Cosplay and Props grow, and that's just been the admin just going on to people's pages. Hey, like my page. Hey, like my page. Leaving comments on all the cosplayers and stuff.
I feel
That's,
kind of
like, really-
I feel kind of douchebaggy doing that though. You know what I mean?
But like I don't know, because I've been watching him do it, and he's been pretty awesome about it. Like just kind of people are like, oh thanks. They've been like super excited to be invited to like the page. So I
Really?
don't get like. I look at it and I'm like, man, if I did that, people would think I was like, I don't know,
like
they
a
wouldn't like
creeper
me.
or something. Yeah.
But he does it, and it's just like everybody loves the guy. So
Maybe we should send him a message and ask him how he goes about doing
How
it.
do you do it? So another thing too, SoundCloud
Yes.
apparently is what needs to happen
Okay.
for this, because I've been getting stop. I've been getting, just like we never touched anything on it, and it developed 6 followers. 6 people played it.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, and these people followed it.
Okay.
So I figure, that's a pretty
Well,
good, and
then
this
that's
wasn't a
what-
platform that we.
Then maybe next month that's what we need to do. Then
Yeah, that
'cause
wasn't
that's
even
what
a
I've been wanting to
platform.
do. So,
Well, and also too.
but I'm not just talking about the podcast. I'm talking
backlog.
about the nub in general.
Oh,
you know?
sure.
Like everything about it. I would like to do a nub event somewhere at a local store. The only bad part about that is I fear I don't want any store to think I'm playing favorites with any other store, you know?
Sure.
And maybe, I mean, this might sound douchebaggy too, but, maybe we could do like a tour, to the different stores, and have like a little event at each store,
Oh, like do like one store this day, one
Yeah.
store the next day. I was like, you're not going to get everybody to do that all at once. Not unless
No,
you
God, no.
get
no,
loaded
no,
up on a
no.
bus and make it a
No,
drinking
no.
event. That would be
I'm talking about like this week
would actually be pretty cool.
I need to stop hitting my microphone. I'm talking about this week we go to, like, say, Famous Faces and Funnies. Then next week we go to VR Comics. Then next week we go to the Infinite Mushroom, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? And just kind of hit all the nerd stores that would let us, do something and have some kind of event. Maybe, some kind of promotional thing with them where, if you came in on that day and said you were there for the Nub event, they'd give you a discount or something. I don't know.
Give you 2% off your sale.
I mean, 2% is still better than nothing, I guess. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm being douchey when I want to do these kind of things because I feel like I'm like, ooh, so awesome. The Nub is so awesome. At the same time, like, I really want to build up the Nub and make it, something more in the community. So, if anybody's listening has any suggestions, please. Drop a line. You can either do it on the video on if this ends up on SoundCloud, you can do it on SoundCloud. If this you could do it actually on the Facebook page, or just send me a message directly, whatever.
You know what's absolutely irritated me? There was one thing that you shared on there,
and it irritated you?
No, it's not that what you didn't irritate me.
Okay.
What irritated me was how much of a response it got, because it was one of these very memey things where it was like, oh, tag a friend that this applies to.
Yeah, and I try not to do those things because they're gimmicky, but the response you get from that is...
The response was so intense, and I'm just looking at it like, that makes me so upset. Like, because a lot of the stuff is really funny, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we
But,
try
like, that thing-
to put things on there that either like will get your attention or look cool or something, something that we actually put like real effort into,
Yeah,
like
but
the
then the
podcast.
gimmicky thing.
But then something's gimmicky, all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, let's share this with everybody.
Oh, I'm going to tag my friends that look like Chris Hemsworth.
What was the?
I don't
what was
even
the-
know. I
okay.
just know that it.
I usually you see I don't do many of those because of the fact that it's kind of gimmicky,
Well,
but,
like this one right here, how Italians need healing.
Yeah.
And it's Genji, and he's doing like the Salt Bay hand or
Yeah.
something. That's absolutely hilarious to me.
but and then it does have 634 people reached,
No, reached, but that's got and
I notice a lot
there's
of
no
people
likes.
don't actually like things. They don't actually
Yeah, which means
like
they-
or share things.
they got reached. It appeared in their news feed.
Yeah.
They saw it and went ha,
and then just
laughed
scrolled
at
up,
it, and
yeah.
then scrolled down. Like
And
the
I hate
likes
to
are
I
really,
hate to be a like whore. I hate to be like, hey, come on, like our thing, share them, things like that. But at the same time, I feel like if I don't start doing that, we're never going to move forward. So I guess I just need to start being that guy that's kind of
this
obnoxious.
one right here that Shamrock did.
Yeah.
Choose one: invisible, read minds, teleport, the high ground.
Yeah.
I probably
That's
laughed
hilarious,
at that
yeah.
for like 2 or 3 minutes. Like that really made me laugh. I'm like, oh my god, that's so funny.
That's what I know. I think I've said this in the podcast before, but if you guys have any suggestions, like what we can do to make it more interesting to you or to anybody else, because that's what the Nub is about. Is it's nerds in general. You are the nerds. So if you yeah, my local
Then
events.
this
Whenever
right
I put
here,
local
right
events,
here.
it doesn't reach
Look,
very many people. I don't
23
understand
people
that.
reached.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
get
you
that.
look at some of the memes,
Yeah,
and 162 people. I don't understand the algorithm
yeah.
that
And I
Facebook
think one of the things
applies.
I'm going to start doing is I'm probably going to start doing the thing where you pay the $5 to have your stuff like reach thousands
if
of
it's
people,
like
but-
$5 a month to like boost stuff, okay.
Yeah.
But I've actually known people with businesses that are like, oh, Facebook advertising, oh, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, well, I want to try it at least
Maybe
once or
for like
twice and see.
businesses, but maybe something like this.
I want
might
to try
not
it
be
once
a
or
bad
twice, see what
platform.
happens. But I would just want to do other things to try to build up. I guess I need to after MegaCon. I'm going to start having some serious conversations with the nerd stores,
Well,
local nerd stores, about
another
doing some
thing,
events and
too,
stuff. You know?
Is find out how much it's going to be for a table, and like do something at a local con.
Yeah,
You know,
that would be cool.
because you got cosplayers that just get a table and they sell their prints.
I really don't think it's that expensive. I don't think it's.
Yeah,
I think
it's
even at
probably
MegaCon, it's probably like only like $80 or something like that.
Sure,
for
yeah.
a table and like the little side areas. You know,
Mm.
I don't think it's anything too terribly crazy. You know,
And
you don't,
we could do like, because not that I'm disparaging anybody.
what we need to do is we need to up our gear so we can do portable stuff because at the Tampa cons,
Mm-hmm.
it was basically like Podpalooza. Like
Yeah.
like most of the panels were podcasting, and it was crazy because I was like, I know
I like
that's,
that. I like that. No, it's cool. Go with it.
but we'll do it live. But that's what a lot of it was just podcasting, and then improv stuff. And it wasn't as much like Maycon. What I love about Maycon is that a lot of their panels, you get to meet artists and listen to their stories
and pay to see,
No,
Doctor
you don't
Who
usually.
characters.
You don't usually pay for the
No,
panels.
for like the stuff that's worth it. But then you got to
Yeah.
pay like $100 just to see David Tennant from 500 feet away. And
What? I didn't have to pay to see any of that
oh,
stuff.
I remember one year for Amelia Pond. Who's that? Karen Gilliam.
Yeah.
And River. What's her name?
Really? They must have changed that. 'Cause
Yeah, it
now,
had, like,
now it's
30
like
bucks a
that's
seat.
like usually included in the.
Well,
the actual,
now, but a couple of years ago, I think people got pissed because like Dragon Con, you'll see
Yeah.
that like there's not a single panel that you got to pay for at Dragon Con.
Yeah, I didn't pay for a single panel while we were at Maycon this last year, but that was my first time ever going to Maycon too. So
Oh, maybe this past year. I don't know.
I think the only. No, there was nothing I had to pay for. I don't think I even had to pay
Well,
to
maybe
see
they
Frank
started
Miller.
paying because they typically only do that when they don't pay the artist.
Maybe I had
Then
to pay
they
to see.
charge.
Maybe I had to pay to see Stan Lee, but I don't remember. If I did, it was something like nominal. It was like $10-15,
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah. So whatever we can do to build up the nub, man. Like we need to really, I really just want to make it something like in the community where like okay. Case in point, I want more of these kind of situations. I was at the flea market this last weekend, right? And I was walking around the flea market. I was
We could open a flea market store.
well.
Sorry.
That's what I was going to talk about actually.
Sorry.
It's Cassie's.
Oh yeah.
Cassie's. What is it? Oh man, I feel horrible now. Please
No,
look it
well,
up.
hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Because I have it liked on here.
Good. Okay, I do too. I just
So
don't.
I've bought
I think it's
Cassie's
a C.
Corner.
Actually. Oh, Cassie's Corner. Okay.
Yep.
So Cassie's Corner at the
Oh,
flea
maybe.
market.
Hold
It's a comic book. It's a little comic book store. They've got like some very unique things in there. They had like shoes that were made by local artists and things like that, and just really cool stuff, right? I walked in there. I was talking to her, and this weekend I'm actually going back because she's setting aside an ash for me, an ash pop that I really want. But I was like, oh, this is a cool story you got here in the flea market and stuff. And I was like, have you heard of the Nub? Because I'd like to kind of promote you on the Nub a little bit, like I do for other organizations. And she's like, oh yeah, I've heard of it. I know some people that really like the page and stuff. And I've she's posted on the group page a couple times some of her products. And I was like, okay, cool. I want to promote you a little bit on the actual like Facebook page. So I'm gonna start doing that for her. But it was cool that
you're right.
she had actually
CASSIS
Cassie's
Comics.
Comics. Yeah, that's
Cassie's
what it is. Okay.
Comics.
But she had heard of us, and that was cool. I really liked that. It felt validated.
Oh,
Go ahead.
that may have been me.
That may have been you.
I went in there and I was like, yeah, host a podcast.
Oh, well, I don't care as long as
No,
they
I don't know.
they heard about it. I mean, no, she was talking about some friend of hers named Bradley. That,
Oh, okay.
That makes shirts that she sells there and stuff like that. And,
Oh, is that Brad?
See, I thought it was Brad. Does Brad make shirts?
Yeah. That's
Old
what
Man
he does.
Cosplay?
No, Bradley. Hold on, I can't type today.
That's okay.
This guy right here.
Bradley Witt
yeah.
makes nerd
He
shirts.
Brad's Junk Shop Repair and Parts.
Okay, and he makes nerd shirts.
Yep.
Okay.
I believe so. Yeah.
Well, he just got a little plug on our podcast.
Kick
Brad
Art
Bradley Witt.
Clothing.
That's awesome.
And he also restores. He shares this Brad's Junk Shop Repair Parts. He restores old consoles.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Yeah,
oh, that's
he shares
really cool.
his pictures on here, like how dumpy and awful they look, and then
what he does with them and
brand new condition when he's right here. Yeah,
Yeah.
like new.
Another person I'd like to talk to about just kind of give him a shout out every now and again is this it's a thrift store. You know what? I'll remember it later. I'm not even gonna sit here and try it. I don't want to make people wait on the podcast. Like, who are you talking about? But it's like they call it something upscale thrift store in I want to say like Sebastian or something like that. But it's pretty cool, And they usually have a lot of nerdy stuff in there, vintage nerdy stuff. So I'd like to eventually start, giving them little plugs and stuff like that on our page. But yeah, so whatever we can do to build up the nub, that's what I really want to start working on. In board game news, I think it's hit now or it's coming out very, very shortly. The Dark Souls board game is hitting the shelf soon, right?
Okay.
Dark Souls, is that the video game where basically you kiss your ass goodbye several times before you actually complete a level because it's just gruelingly hard, right? You know what I'm talking about, right?
I think so.
Okay. Well, they've made a board game that from what I understand, the reviews are a little mixed. Actual board gamers who have not played the video game are not too impressed by the game because you know, it's extremely difficult and it requires a lot of replayability. Which when you're replaying a game over and over again because you keep getting your ass handed to you, as far as board game is concerned, because of the setup and everything involved in it, is sometimes something that kind of deters you from playing the game.
Yeah.
You know, because, I mean, setting up a board game, especially, this is a very big board game with, you know, big pieces and things like that. Like, if you have to keep going over and over again because you keep getting this shit kicked out of you, like, you know, what?
Like having to do simple mathematics at Jamaica?
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But, yeah, so that, I mean, but the people who are board gamers and also have played the video game and like the video game really enjoy the Dark Souls game because they say that it very much encapsulates. Thank you. The experience of the video game in board game fashion. Me personally, I'll try it, but any game that makes me have to reset up over and over again just so that I can move past one board is not really my cup of tea. But I'm still gonna check it out.
I'm not sure about that.
In video game news, there are 3 games coming out that I'm kind of excited about.
Okay.
One of them is Injustice 2. Foxtail and I are both extremely excited about it. We've got our pre-order in. We've got it set up for the Ultimate Edition, so it comes with all the bells and whistles and all that kind of fun stuff. Very, very excited. A bunch of new heroes. The story is going to involve Brainiac, and if the story is anywhere near as good as the original was, I'm very excited about that. Call of Duty World War II. They're taking the Call of Duty series, taking that back to World War II, which is kind of, in my opinion, why I really enjoyed the series. I really loved playing those Call of Duty games back in the day with World War I and World War II.
I thought that was an interesting turn. You know,
to go backwards like that?
Yeah.
Well, Battlefield did the same thing with Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
They're going back to World War I instead of World War II, but they're still going
I kind of feel like those are going to be like
backwards.
one-off, though. I do honestly feel like they do pump out too many games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
they're Battlefield, Call of Duty, the Madden of first-person shooters.
Well, you know, Call of Duty too, especially. But then one guy made a very astute observation. He was ranting about it while playing Battlefield Hardline, and basically saying, you know, you keep rebuying the same damn game from these companies over and over and over and over again, plus the DLC. It's like you're giving these guys $200 a year.
Well, Battlefield's owned by EA, right?
Yeah.
And EA does Madden as well, right?
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, that's kind of
they
their blueprint.
Have made absurd amounts of money.
They are brilliant in that sense.
Reusing the same assets.
Yeah. Only adding slightly different, you know, aspects.
Changing the post-processing.
The only reason I'm excited about the Call of Duty World War II is for the simple fact that we're making a return back to where I thought Call of Duty really should have never left. You know, I never really like the Modern Warfare games and stuff like that were okay, but I just loved the feel, the story, the whole 9 yards that went with the original Call of Duty games with the World War II theme. You know,
those were fun, and I did like Battlefield 1942 was.
Yeah, that's one of my absolute favorite Battlefield games. Yeah,
but it's just kind of like they've already done it.
Yeah.
No, I mean.
Yeah, but that's Battlefield, not Call of Duty. Battlefield and Call of Duty have always been.
Oh no, this is Call of Duty that's doing it.
Yeah, Call of Duty is doing Call of Duty World War II.
Okay, sorry, my brain didn't process
Well, it's WW2.
WW2
is what the title is for this one. Yeah.
It's the Second Great War.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's where they started. Remember Call of Duty? As a matter of fact, when I worked at the LAN center, Gamer HQ.
Yeah.
Like that was like one of the big games was Call of Duty, and it was all about World War II. So
that and Counter-Strike and
oh man, Counter-Strike.
Ricochet, man. We played some. Nobody played Ricochet.
All right, and then the third one that I'm really kind of excited about, and this is just because this is a great game for. Even though there's some multiplayer aspect to it, you're kind of sitting around on the bed by yourself playing Destiny 2. I'm very excited about the second Destiny coming out. I've already got my pre-order in for it and everything like that.
Did they just release Destiny?
No, Destiny's been out for a few years now.
Like a year?
No, it's like 4, somewhere in that area.
If it's been out 4 years, I don't even know what to say.
3 to 4 years, something like that.
That's been a fast 3 to 4 years.
It's a good game though, so I'm looking forward to that. All right, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is about to hit soon. I am unbelievably excited about this
What
movie.
day?
It is, well, this Friday is the official, so Thursday is probably the midnight premiere.
I gotcha.
So somewhere in that area.
Mm-hmm.
I am so excited about that. You know, one of the things I'm really excited about though is the soundtrack. I love the soundtrack from the first one. I cannot wait to hear the soundtrack from the second one. I know about 6 songs are on it right now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me if you've heard of these. Okay. Fox on the Run by
Nope.
Sweet. Okay.
Nope.
Mr. Blue Sky.
Oh, absolutely. ELO. Yep.
Yep. The Chain by Fleetwood Mac.
I'm sure I know it if I heard it. That sounds familiar.
My Sweet Lord by George Harrison.
Oh, if it's by George Harrison, everybody's heard it.
Sure.
Come on.
Let's see. Surrender by Cheap Trick.
Yep.
Yep. And Flashlight by Parliament, which is weird they say Parliament and not George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelic. Huh?
Oh.
No, not George Carr. That'd be a whole
Well,
different
you
song.
know, I mean, they lost the funk, so
I guess. But
they
I
kicked
could've-
it overboard. It fell in the ocean.
But yeah, the more I see about, I mean, this one's gonna be another fun, like hilarious ride. So I'm really excited about that. So
Should be good, and especially if Big Trouble in Little China, Snake Plissken.
yes,
Uh,
is Star-Lord's dad in this?
yeah,
Yes.
I'm really excited. Kurt Russell. There we
Kurt
go.
Russell, yeah. I was just
Speaking
gonna-
of which,
Mhm.
when are we going to play Big Trouble in Little
I
China?
already told you this Thursday at game night.
Go. I need it now.
This Thursday at game night, we'll play Big Trouble in Little China. I'll go over the
All right.
rules because they're slightly different from the other legendary games.
I will.
So just
sit there with
just
dead
so
eyes.
anybody that's listening knows. All right, so I bought. I really love the legendary series. It's a card game. It's a deck builder,
Okay, I was about to
and
say
it's a
deck builder,
cooperative.
I can-
It's a cooperative deck builder, and like the Marvel Legendary is my favorite. But I've played some of the other legendaries, and they're pretty decent. So I picked up Big Trouble in Little China because I'm like, I love Big Trouble in Little China. It's one of my favorite movies. It's just goofy and weird, and
excellent and amazing in every way.
it's got Kurt Russell in it. So,
Mhm.
but I have yet to play it. And every time Felton comes over, he looks at it and goes, "So we're gonna play Big Trouble in Little China?"
I won't be Jack Burger.
So I've made a decree that Thursday when we have our game night that we've been doing, I will be throwing it on the table. It was that and another game. I don't remember what the other game was, but it was that and another game that we'll be throwing on the table. So I'll remember when I get home and I see my
What's his
big
name? I
wall
wanted
of
to play
games.
The other one.
Hmm?
The brother that always sits on the right.
Mm.
I forget their names.
Brandon?
Brandon. There we go. God.
I still don't remember what the game was though. So
Yeah, I know he had suggested it, so I'm sure he'll.
but
be
when I
able
look
to-
at it, when I look at my wall of games, I'll figure it out.
I will. I will try not to look at you with dead eyes
Mhm.
when you're describing the rules to me.
Well, just so you understand, we're taking your phone away from you. That's the new rule. Joe cannot have his phone until he is in the game. Like learning the rules and starting the game. Joe cannot have his phone until he's in the game,
Yeah.
and then he can have his
The
phone.
thing of it is I need to see it. I
Mm-hmm.
need to actually see it going on, the steps, like somebody physically do it
I know,
while the game is being
I
played.
know. But when we
Like,
started doing that
you
part,
can
when we started doing
describe
that
it.
part, you were on your phone.
Oh, was I?
Yeah,
Well, it's
so-
probably because I was on my phone.
Because the way that I explain is I take everything out and I show you how to play when I'm explaining it. So we're taking your phone away until we start playing the game.
I'll just put it on Do Not Disturb.
No, we're actually going to physically rustle you to the ground, pepper spray you, and take your phone.
Can I just eat some sriracha instead?
Okay, well, we're going to wrestle you to the ground, give you some sriracha, then pepper spray you.
Can I actually? Can I? Oh man, my mouth is watering now. Oh, I want to have spicy tuna roll with sriracha. Oh, that's so
Oh,
good.
that does sound good.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, the fat boy in me is screaming. Screaming and clapping his hands and
Oh, sriracha.
doing the
You know that the
Doing-
sushi factory?
doing the Eddie Murphy from the
Yeah,
Meet the
Meet the parents.
Clumps or something
Meet
like
the
that,
Clumps, the
Hercules.
No, that sushi factory down on Wickham Road. You been there?
Yet to be there.
They give you a little
Yet to
card.
be there. Yet to go there.
Yeah, they give you a little card, and
Told
you
me about
you
this.
check it, and then they
Mhm.
just bring it to your. You don't even have to stand up.
Oh my God, it's
Yeah.
like a fat man's paradise.
Yeah,
And is it a buffet, like an all you can eat?
it's a sit-down buffet.
Oh my
You
God.
just check the box, and then
There was a place that Foxtail and I went to in Orlando that was like that. You sat down. Of course, their sushi was not very good though, so it was kind of a
Oh, this
waste.
is good
but-
shit.
Oh, good.
yeah,
Well,
salad, anything you want. They even do like hibachi meals. You can,
Oh,
geez,
wow.
bring it right out to you.
I love it. All right. Let's see. Okay, I wrote gut wrenching Flash. Oh, the last episode that they had of the Flash, which by the time this comes out, there will be another episode that will have aired. But anybody that watches the Flash will probably know what I'm talking about. The gut wrenching episode of the Flash that just aired recently, where he goes to the future and sees what happens. I don't know. You don't follow the Flash, right?
I stopped watching it with the whole weird stepsister fetish thing. Was
She's not his stepsister.
paramount in the show.
She's not his stepsister.
She kind of is though.
Oh
They
my
adopted him. I couldn't get over the mopey friend zone attitude of it. I was
Well,
just
we're well past the friend zone now.
"Oh."
Anyway, so I don't want to give much away.
Wait, he doesn't hook up with
anybody's
her, does
not
he?
cut up. Yeah, they're like.
Oh, see, that just makes me upset because you shouldn't be rewarded for being a mopey asshole. Like, oh, my friend zone.
Yeah, well now because of how they hook up, because he kind of like alters the future. He alters like all these. He's altered the reality like 4 times now, and it's caused all these problems. Because of that, she's going to be killed by this character, and he's like, now he's doing everything he can to figure out how he can keep her from being killed, but he can't alter the timeline again because it will like fracture everything and everything will fall apart. So he traveled to the future to see like what happened and see if he can get information about the past, totally trying to be like, Marty McFly and everything like that. And man, the future that he goes to is bleak as hell. Like his buddy, I don't know if you remember his buddy that does all the computer stuff and everything like that, and designed his suit and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
He loses his hands,
Does he get robot hands?
He does actually
Oh,
get
well,
robot
then what
hands.
the fuck is anybody complaining
I guess
about?
that is kind of cool if you get robot hands, except for the fact you can't feel anything. So, man,
Maybe
think about
that
it. You
could be
can't.
better though.
Yeah, except for the fact if you try to pleasure yourself, like you can't feel like how
exactly.
strong the hand. Like,
well, I mean.
anyways, now we're getting to the 12-year-old cast.
No.
Well, let's talk about robot hands on penises for like 20 minutes.
That encapsulates so many fetishes all at once.
But I'm just saying, this last Flash, you really should pick it up, man. I mean, get over that stuff. But
I still have
It's
not
just
gone back to
gut-wrenching.
the Magicians because I'm still so upset about.
Are you serious?
About what Short Drink of Water did to?
That's amazing too. That show
I just was really
fantastic.
upset. I'm like, he cheated on her. Like, I can't believe he did that.
Yeah, he did, and he's
You know,
paying, he's paying for it.
He worked so hard to get behind her wall,
Yeah,
and he screwed it all up.
I really sometimes wonder if maybe you're like a female trapped in a male's body because you're just like, no,
Shut up.
you deserve better.
Shut
Don't
up.
get with him.
Hey, Bill Nye said that's a possibility.
Yeah,
So you know
That's
what?
true.
There's over 9,000 genders.
So
You could be a wolf man.
I know I've talked about this writer several times on the podcast, but Jeff Johns is pretty much the reason that the Flash show is as good as it is nowadays, and pretty much the reason that anybody even cares about the Flash or Green Lantern or a lot
Is
of these
Green
characters.
Lantern in it?
Huh? No, Green Lantern's not in it, but I'm talking about Green Lantern in the comic books is a huge character nowadays. Aquaman as well, and the Teen Titans. A lot of these characters that were on the cusp of being completely canceled and gotten rid of, or wouldn't have their own series, they would just be part of other people's series, were all saved by the one guy, Jeff Johns. And it really saddens me now that he doesn't really write anymore. He's in the higher ups of DC, and it's weird how that's translated, because I haven't read a lot of what's going on in DC now, but his time when he was writing, it was amazing. Like, DC was the best books to read. Now it's like I'm always, when I read DC now, I feel like I'm always searching for something Jeff Johns-esque or something that will just really catch me. I mean, there are a couple people who've really done a good job of making some fantastic stories that don't revolve around Jeff Johns, like Scott Snyder, his run on Batman, where they introduced like the Owl Society, I think is what they're called. The Court of Owls. I'm sorry, the Court of Owls, which was this whole like.
Who are they?
Who?
Oh, I did it too. I emphasized it too much.
You were really
I
jumping
was
to
trying
catch
to
me
be.
in that, right?
I was trying to be subtle there, and I just.
How many
fucked
licks
it
to
up.
get to the center of Gotham City?
Who are they? I got really excited about that one.
But I mean, dad jokes for days. I understand. Like I try
For
to knock those out as much as I can.
For years.
So I don't know. I just feel like, I mean, I love Jeff Johns because he's created all this whole interest with all these other characters and stuff. I just feel bad now that he's gone in the comic sense, because man, I just miss those stories. I miss these like really
miss
like
your stories.
I miss my stories. Honestly, they were like big old soap operas. I saw that now. I don't know how I feel about this at all, but I saw a preview for Cloak and Dagger, which is another Marvel Enterprise, and it's going to be on Freeform, which used to be ABC Family. I don't know why it's called Freeform now, Probably, I don't know. I have no idea why it's called Freeform.
Because they wanted to be cool and hipster and
I guess, and
make it sound like they were edgy.
I saw the preview for it, and I don't know. I mean, if I remember correctly, which I don't remember a whole lot about the Cloak and Dagger characters. Cloak is this guy who does this like teleportation thing where he's got this big cloak, and you kind of run into him because he's like a head with a cloak, and there's like no body. He's like basically like a teleportation thing. You can kind of like run into him and teleport other places and stuff. He's has some other weird powers, and then Dagger is this chick who kind of shoots out these like light daggers or these like laser beam daggers or something like that. That's kind of her kind of thing. As far as I remember, I mean, these are characters that were big in like the 70s and 80s before I really got into comic books because I was
take a little bit of
a little
psychotropic drug,
little
read the comic book and be like, oh, this is entirely possible.
So I don't know, like from what I saw from the preview, it didn't look entertaining. It looked more like it's going to be in the realm of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I didn't really care. I don't really care for the S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show.
Do you remember the show? It was like The Cape.
Marvel's the S.H.I.E.L.D., not the S.H.I.E.L.D. like TV
Yeah.
show from FX. I love that.
Yeah.
The Cape.
It was about a guy who got like this spongy like.
Wasn't it a
grappling
comedy
hook.
kind of thing?
No, it was
No,
a
it was
serious
a-
show.
It only
It
had
was
like a couple
supposed to-
episodes,
Yeah,
though, right?
it was
yeah,
supposed to be like super edgy and cool.
it was bad though. It
Yeah.
was really bad. I
Yeah,
remember
I
that
think it had the Oracle in it though, right?
from DC.
Yeah.
Maybe, but it was bad. It was really
Yeah.
bad. Well, that goes along with Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey was really bad, and they had one. They actually got one season out, but you know, I found this out. A little trivia for you. That first episode of Birds of Prey at the time was the highest rated episode on TV. Like millions of people tuned in to see it because it took place in Gotham. You know, people thought maybe they're going to
They
see a
should
little
have
bit
had
of like
Joss
Batman and stuff
Whedon.
like that. Yeah, they should have had Josh Wheaton, you know,
or
do
Will
that,
Wheaton.
or Will Wheaton.
Any of the
Yeah.
people.
But then after that, it just quickly plummeted down.
I
know?
didn't watch it.
I didn't either. But
yeah.
from what I understand, I mean, there's been a lot of failed TV stuff that, like, I remember they only had a couple episodes on TV called for Generation X, which at the time was this Marvel thing where it was like the younger X-Men, which is funny because the X-Men have they're like a whole school, it's a whole academy, but they had to go even younger, I guess, you know, for a whole other group of.
We've got to go deeper.
Yeah,
Youngception.
it was a school for gifted youngsters inside a school for gifted youngsters.
It was the daycare inside the school for gifted youngsters.
Man, it was bad, but that one was really bad for the simple fact that like none of the characters in the show were any of the characters from the comic book, and it was just like it was very confusing and didn't make any sense. And
Well, that was kind of the problem I had with the X-Men films, even though, is because my only introduction to X-Men were the characters as they were represented in the comics. So, like,
no, let's be honest, it was the animated TV show.
the animated TV show. I'm sorry. Wow, I don't even know why I said that. The animated TV show. So when the movies came out, I was like, well, wait a minute, like so and so should be there, and why is Gambit like 12? And
honestly, I remember when I was
WTF,
younger.
mate?
I remember when I was younger, I started reading comics about the same time that the X-Men animated TV show came out. So I was confused because what I was reading at the time didn't line up with what I was seeing in the cartoon. And the same with Batman, the animated series.
Mhm.
In a sense, you know, didn't kind of, you know, add up. Although that's kind of with Batman, you kind of go all kinds of different directions. But
Well, I mean, there's like 50 million different timelines and
Exactly.
20 different.
But for
series
the
and
X-Men
reboots
at the time when that came out, like it was totally different from what was going on in the cartoon. I was like, I'm totally lost right now. What's going on? And then to make it even more confusing for the younger readers, they came out with an X-Men animated cartoon comic book, which loosely followed the TV show, but not quite, and kind of did its own thing too. So it was
Well,
even more confusing.
Here's what I can't understand: the Fantastic Four cartoon.
Mhm.
Okay, I thought did quite well. I mean, I remember that being on for
It was on for a
a
while.
while.
And Spider-Man and
And
Friends.
Spider-Man and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't quite get how. Is it Sony that owned the rights to it? Or
Probably.
whoever keeps trying to reboot it so they can keep the rights to it every
Yeah.
couple of years, like in a really shitty power grab.
Yeah. Which is exactly what it is.
Yeah, I don't understand why they can't like make a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. It just is very confusing to me because the cartoon did it.
Yeah. Cartoon did a really good job of it. I don't know. I don't get, I mean, with the source material in general, I mean, like, you don't have to do what they keep doing, which is
the origin story over and over and over again. Like, they didn't have to do the origin story.
If I remember correctly, the X-Men animated TV show didn't have an origin story.
No,
the only origin story was for Jubilee. She was like the new mutant that they were introducing, you know?
Yeah.
And that was it. Everybody else was already part of the X-Men.
And every once in a while, they would do like a flashback.
Yeah.
But that's all you needed, you know, like
exactly.
to explain something.
Like, oh, that's why Wolverine's a dick. Or,
that's why Rogue, you know, is the way she is, because she totally absorbed this chick.
And if you think about it, in comic books, I mean, like, these characters have been around for decades. So any new reader would be coming in at a point which would be the new point for them.
There we go.
And it's, like, well into the history of that franchise. So, you know, a little bit of a backstory every now and again isn't a bad thing. But they didn't just rehash the origin every couple of years. Although that's what they started doing now with the whole, like, revamping their whole universe and stuff.
They keep losing actors, and they keep.
No, I'm talking about the comic books though. I'm saying they didn't. If you started reading X-Men, let's say 1990s, the X-Men have been around for a long time. So you just you yourself had to figure out who was who and what was what, and they give you some flashbacks every now and again. They do that in comic books every now and again. Give you a little flashback, even though you've probably seen it before. They give you a little flashback, kind of tell you what the motivation is for this character, but they don't give you a full revamp of the origin story.
Yeah, only when it's relevant.
Yeah,
you know, and to me that's important, because to spend this, it must cost money to do it.
Yeah.
You know, to replan everything, redo everything. I just can't imagine that. Couldn't they have some consistency?
Michael Keaton's Batman does not start off with any kind of origin story.
No,
nothing like that. It goes straight into Batman's a badass. He lives in Gotham. Everybody's afraid of him, and then later they give you some flashbacks as to why
his parents died.
Yeah.
Well, because No, I mean, that's like a minute-long scene, or
but what I'm
the
saying
montage
is,
in the beginning, you can show it.
What I'm saying is, Spider-Man, for instance, wouldn't have needed an origin story. They could have started with Spider-Man coming in, flying through the, New York City, screwing with bad guys, doing his little quips and things like that, and then they could have in a really in really good flashbacks, they could kind of give you like what happened and how he became Spider-Man, yada yada.
Well, he was in the supermarket and he dropped his rice.
What? That one's way off from me.
His Uncle Ben's rice. He dropped his
That was wow.
That was a good one.
That was a reaching. That was a reacher.
No, but I was trying to sneak it in there this time because the other one was pretty obvious. So.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It was, I'll give you a little golf clap for it.
But look at like the first one with Peter.
Tobey Maguire.
No.
The first one was Tobey Maguire, the original Spider-Man movie that came out.
Okay.
Actually, unless we want to go back to the crappy one in the 80s or something like that.
No, I'm talking like Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, he led the charge on all the
the first one I liked, and the whole thing with Uncle Ben.
And the second one wasn't bad.
Second one was bad, and the third one
got
too much into biblical imagery throughout the whole series.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about the actual
Sam
dialogue.
Raimi directed it too, right?
Yeah, he directed all three of them. But
I thought he only directed.
No, he directed all three of them. That's why if you watch all three of those have what's his name in them too? Ash. That's his like staple for some reason. But that third one, like, it was just too many bad guys, too much going on, and then the dialogue was absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. Yes, Bruce Campbell. Like, at one point in time, Sandman grabs Venom off a wall in an alley for some reason, because they're just both hanging out in this alley, slams on the ground, and then goes, "Oh, wait, you're not Spider-Man." And then literally, I mean, this is almost word for word, like, the dialogue, and he's like, "Do you want to team up and go get him together?" I'm like, who wrote this? Was it a 12-year-old? Like, they just sitting there like, all right, and then what's going to happen is Sandman is going to meet Venom, and he's going to slam him off.
Well, you know what they did with Axe Cop, right? That show, Axe Cop?
I didn't actually see Axe Cop.
Well, it was voiced by Nick Offerman, right?
But it's based off of a comic book, though. I do know that.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, I thought the comic book was like the guy that did it, like, got all the plot lines from his kid.
No, well, it might be, but there's a comic book, and that might be where he got the plot lines.
Yeah, but like everything was from the kid describing what would happen.
Okay.
That was the third Spider-Man movie. Was just like he was just like, okay, what's gonna happen next?
That's what it felt like. That's absolutely what it felt like. It was just atrocious.
Then he's
and the whole dancing
Electrode
thing,
again.
and oh my god. And then the first Amazing Spider-Man was all right. It wasn't great. It wasn't anything that I was gonna jump over the moon for, but it was all right, But or no, not the first one. The first one sucked horribly. That's the one with the lizard, right? I think. And then Amazing Spider-Man 2 was actually not
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. It had Emma Watson in it, and she, for some reason, you know.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 wasn't bad, though. That was the one with Electro in it, with, what's his name, Django playing Electro.
Jango Fett.
Is he going to start doing movies that all have, like, an O at the end of them? Like Django, Electro?
Electrode. Well, he ends with a D, though.
No, it's not Electrode. It's Electro.
Electrode?
Yeah, no, Electro. I'm telling you. This one I know for a fact. Yeah, test me on this.
Okay, you got it.
Electro. Boom. David finally gets one.
Okay.
Electrode is a Pokemon
Electrode is the
character,
Pokemon, so that's where I was mistaken. Just so y'all know, I'm not crazy. I was just confused.
Just a different kind of nerd.
Just confused. It was Pokemon's fault. All right.
Anyways, I totally forgot my point now because of that.
So Django is gonna have all O's at the end of his name.
Yeah. Like if they
Jamie
do a
Foxx.
remake of the Boba Fett's father, who was also Django.
Django Fett. Django Fetto.
He's gonna play Django Fetto.
Django Feta cheese.
Django Fetto sounds like a really bad Italian bounty hunter. It's me, a Django Fetto.
He's always doing the thing with the hands up,
the
like
Salt Bay
the
thing.
Salt Bay hands.
But
like,
reverse
hey, what
it.
are you doing? The reverse Salt Bay hands.
It's me,
Talk like
Django,
this with your hands
a
up,
Django Fetto.
trying to make your point.
I'm here to collect
This
you.
is offensive to Italians.
Bringing you back to Jabba the Hutt. It's like a Pizza Hut. It's as Italian as I
I want
am.
the meatballs on my pizza. Did somebody say pizza?
I can't concentrate because instead of pizza.
The pizza's American, but for some reason.
Oh,
It's
just
Italian now.
another little nerdy tidbit. Do you know where the Mario character came from?
Wasn't he based off of a? Was he based off a real person? That
Yeah, he was,
Yeah.
but it was a landlord.
Yeah.
Because what's his name? I'm not gonna be able
Miyamoto?
to. Huh?
No.
I'm not gonna be able to say his name because I always screw
Yeah.
it up. But basically, the founder of he's not the founder. I apologize because Nintendo actually used to be a cardstock company before they really got into the video games. But the father of like everything Nintendo as far as like games and everything is concerned. Yeah, look it up. That'd be awesome.
No, I'm thinking with my brain.
Oh yeah, totally. My brain's called Google.
Shigeru Miyamoto.
Thank you.
See, I was close.
Miyamoto is the only way that I can. He was in America at the time, if I remember correctly, and his landlord was an Italian named Mario. You know, and he had this kind of way about him that was, like the character. So originally, the character was just I think they called him like
Jumpman.
Hammer or Jumpman, yeah.
Yeah.
And things like that. But later, when they were like refacing it, and then when they came out the Mario game and everything like that, he became this plumber, which I don't know where the plumber thing comes from because it was their landlord, but maybe they had the clogged toilets a lot. I don't know. I don't know what the Japanese cuisine is that would. I don't know how their digestive tract works, but that sounds so racist. But yeah, that's where it comes from. Is like their
I love
landlord
how-
Mario, and
I love how Google
they put a little mustache on him. and
Mario fictional character played by Bob Hoskins. Like, wow, okay. I
That
guess
is the
it
guy that
just-
does the voice. Actually, there was a whole. I think I put it
No,
on.
Bob Hoskins is the classically trained actor. The guy that does the voice.
No, that's
is,
not. Yeah, that's not the same guy.
No, the guy that actually does Mario's voice was.
He was an actor too. Though. He was in a lot of stuff too. I just posted something
he was
on
glorious as
Nerds
Mario.
United about it though, which is pretty funny. But it's me, Mario. No, he was played by Bob Hoskins in the
Mario
live action
movie.
movie.
Yeah, in the
Yes,
live action movie, that's
which
what I'm
was
saying.
phenomenally atrocious.
Oh no! Come on, John Leguizamo.
Yes,
Bob
I love
Hoskins.
John Leguizamo, especially as Luigi.
That movie is really underrated. You gotta
As a
figure
matter of fact,
though-
I don't think either of them do the crappy accent either, do they? Like neither of them are like.
No,
"It's
he's
me."
just like
He's like,
and he's
hey,
British
yeah,
too.
he's like, hey Mario, or hey Luigi, you want to go like stomp out these lizards, or what's up?
Yeah, it's funny because isn't Bob Hoskins is British?
I figure if they're going to go live action like that, they'd go like really hardcore, like like really gritty. Like I figured they would be like.
They almost did though.
It seemed like they were
like
going to go
they
that
had
way.
this
like,
whole entire
because like
dystopian
if I remember
world.
correctly, like the lizard guys and they like ripped their head, like they had like fake heads or masks on or something like that, so you could and they take it off and they had like the lizard face underneath or something. No,
No, they just had like shrunken lizard heads.
that's what it was. Okay, it was something
Yeah.
weird like that. Man, they should have really gone with this. Like,
They were straight like
'cause-
Nazi shock troops.
yeah,
Like it was, if you really
and it was
look
like
at
it was a dystopia future kind of thing.
the
and-
the imagery behind that movie was just so incredibly creative. Like I don't think people really. There were a couple faults in the film which really like took
Like a
away
lot?
from it, like a lot. But just like the core of the movie, the set pieces, the oh my god, all basically just the set pieces were really beautiful.
They were actually, the funny thing is it was, if I remember correctly, they really
a
like
lot of
it was like
practical
Blade
effects.
Runner. It was like Blade Runner for
Exactly.
for Mario.
That's
and
I think maybe what they were trying to do.
I really wish that they were going to go there. They would have just gone real gritty with it though, and like had Mario and Luigi like some like real like gritty noir
I wonder if they could
detective
do, like,
kind of
a
guys,
recut.
or like with the like chain smoking and stuff like that, and just like, hey Luigi, did you hear about this King Koopa bastard? Yeah, heard he stomped out a couple of girls behind the old casino the other day.
Let's gotta go talk to him.
Yeah,
See what's up.
he snatched up what was that Peach's name? What was that? What was that Peach's name?
I think she's named Princess Mario.
Yeah, that's it. Princess the Peach. Yeah, he snatched that broad up, and he's keeping her up in the in his high rise.
We gotta go ask Toad where he's at.
Yeah.
That little Fink is gonna know.
Yeah, little Toad Fink is gonna know exactly what we're looking for. I'm gonna stomp him out like a stool. You know what I'm saying?
Little
Like
Wop is gonna get it.
Oh man, you see those shock troops? They got the little backpacks on. They look like a bunch of friggin' turtles. You know what I'm saying?
Those Hammermen.
I'm telling you, like, man, we should write this. We should write the friggin'
Well, they did Mario Warfare, but like that wasn't.
Mario Warfare.
You never saw those
No.
videos? On
Oh,
YouTube?
yes, I did. Yeah,
they did like
no.
the Army Mario.
No, I'm talking about like a real like dystopia, like
Blade Runner Mario.
Blade Runner Mario. Yeah, like Mario and Luigi have the big trench coats on and stuff like that, and
They're
and it's
actually-
like, and his trench coat's like a dirty, dingy, like nasty red.
They're actually
it's-
like plumbers, but they investigate crimes that have to do with.
they have
with,
their
with
toilets.
the
Yeah,
sewer.
yeah.
They're
Like,
like
yeah, I
sewer
heard he's
investigators.
flushing pieces of broads down in the sewer. Like some real messed up stuff.
Like the future cities are so bad that they actually have to have cops.
have like a
that
7 thing going on.
investigate the
Have a
sewers
7 thing going on,
and
in
they
there
have
where
like entire
they get-
subterranean.
they get sent one of those question mark boxes. You know what I'm talking about? And you open it up, it's got like Toadstool's
in the
head in it or something. He's like, Luigi's like, Mario, what's in the box? What's in the box?
Toad said.
Luigi,
No, because you could have an entire underground
Luigi,
world.
don't look.
That's a great idea. Somebody's gonna steal this now.
Oh God, why did we put it on the podcast?
I don't know.
I think that would be
Put it
great
on the
though,
internet.
man. I would watch the hell out of that movie. Like if it was like a real just dirty, gringy, like grimy Blade Runner, friggin' Mario Brothers, just like but taken real serious though, like real
no camp.
like not
no,
trying
like,
not trying to be campy at all, like real like it's some real serious
That
act.
would be
Bring
hard.
John Leguizamo's back
As Luigi.
to be Luigi. Obviously we can't with Bob Hope.
That's so sad.
but
'cause he really hated that too.
I bet he did.
He thinks that he considered that like one of his worst roles.
Why
and
did he? I wonder why people take these roles. I mean, he must have really
Yeah.
needed the cash. Let's be
He
honest.
must have really like been behind it, been like
Yeah.
because really at the end of the day, like I just wish that I could have written him a letter or something, or
You know who would have been the perfect?
somehow reached out to him like Bob.
You know who would have been perfect, but he's
Your
dead as
movie
well.
was
Is the
good.
guy that played Tony in The Sopranos, like the main character of The Sopranos.
Oh yeah,
He would have been a fantastic Mario. Hey, what do you mean, Mario? What do you mean, Luigi?
Oh, and he could play that like really grungy too. Like,
Yeah, they could have brought him, and they could have brought the guy that played Chris back together again for this movie. Like, it would have been this. It would have been the Sopranos of Mario, like Super
so
Soprano
that's what we
Brothers.
gotta do. We got to produce this really gritty
Mar-
Mario Brothers.
Oh my
movie.
God, that would be fantastic.
And then that's how we get the nub.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Like Luigi is just like this hardcore like futuristic experiment, like cross between like man lizard thing, and he's just he hates his life in general, and he's always looking to fall off ledges and shit.
Oh,
like-
Jesus. But his,
and at one point in
his
time,
feet move so
at one point in
fast.
time, like a slow motion, like they have to get across this like from one. From
He
one
does a Matrix
from one building to the next, like Mario's looking at Yoshi, Yoshi's looking at Mario, and they just know, like he just knows that he's gonna have to jump off of Luigi, off of Yoshi, to make it to this ledge, and that Yoshi's not gonna make it, and Yoshi just gives him that look that with his tongue hanging out because he can't keep it in his mouth because his mouth is so deformed and giant. And he just gives him that look, just that nod, like I know. And then in slow motion, friggin' John Woo style, they go jumping off the friggin' the one building. Mario like runs up his back, like last footstep is off his head, barely makes the ledge, and then you look back in slow motion, you just see Yoshi like falling, like tongue, just like
and
way
then
out
just
there.
like a single
But
tear,
a single
comes out of his
single
eye.
tear, and you've got Mario like Yoshi.
But just like he really has this like peaceful look on his face.
Yeah, like
his
he
eyes
knows,
are
like he's
closed,
accepted
and
it, like he's finally gonna be at peace because he's wanted to die this whole time.
So
you know?
you were saying that Yoshi is going to be this because you said Luigi, and I was.
I know,
like,
I meant Yoshi. I'm sorry.
I'm like,
because
why is
think of how many
Luigi
Mario
gonna
games
be
you
a
played,
weird-
right? Where you have to jump off of Yoshi to make it to the next ledge, right? And think of all the times that Yoshi's just like, you fucker. Like,
Well, the way they explained that away in Mario 3 was there were all these Yoshis that were hidden away in eggs, and they just grow, and
yeah, but does it make one Yoshi's life that less important? Like,
Yoshi's lives matter.
that's what I feel. That's why
What is it?
I really want to see this. I really want to see this very dramatic, scene where
So I guess my question is, what is Yoshi?
he's some kind of dinosaur.
He's some kind of
thing.
lizard,
Are
right?
you trying to question what a character in the Mario universe is?
Well,
Like,
because,
I mean,
like,
if we want to
okay,
get into it, like, what
so
about
we
these?
know
What about
Green
these
Yoshi.
ghosts? What about these ghosts that when you look at them, they
Yeah,
can't do anything?
That's
they can't
horrifying.
move.
They're like the Doctor Who statues.
Oh my god!
So-
think of the creepiness you could do in the Mario movie for that. Like you get these like just these
I'm
ghastly,
telling you,
like
they're like
creepy,
supernatural
like
sewer investigators.
yes.
It's got to be some like supernatural kind of thing, right?
I'm starting to think this might have to be anime though.
Yeah.
I want it to be live action though.
So what about like Yoshi? What is he? Because his name, Green Yoshi, we know is Yoshi.
Mhm.
But like, does Red or Gold or Blue Yoshi have a name, or are they also just like Red, Blue, and Gold Yoshi? Are these just like nameless automatons that we just dispose of at our own leisure?
That is a really good question. Maybe it's like a Groot thing. Maybe they're all Yoshi. I am Yoshi.
Maybe they're all just a hive mind, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's
So
okay.
there's
that
not
one-
really a Yoshi lost, just a body.
I'd like to think of it that way. It sounds a lot better
That's
than
a
the
lot
fact
more
that
comforting than
the
these-
fact that every time I
And
jump,
also, too-
every time I have to use Yoshi to jump from to a higher ledge and he falls to his
What the
death.
hell kind of place is this that has all these pitfalls?
Yeah, it's true. Like, think about trying to get to work on a regular basis and shit. Like, going to school and stuff like that. Like, you're a kid. Like, you're just like, Mom, I can't make it to school. Like, that flying turtle thing's not there for me to jump on. Like, I guess
Yeah.
somebody already killed him. Like, somebody already jumped on him. Like, I can't get to the next
These are
ledge.
not
Like,
functional working worlds.
no, yeah, I can imagine. the economy is just in the
The
toilet.
Mushroom Kingdom is a war zone.
Yeah, it must.
It just,
well,
it
the
just must
economy.
be a horrible war
The
zone.
economy must be in the toilet because I mean,
The
think about it,
Bowser
you can't.
Wars.
You can't get to the store. You can't. You can't get your job. You can't get to.
That's the premise of the movie. The world is in its state, like a Blade Runner, only
Yeah.
it has like L.A. and everywhere else is a war, nuclear holocaust. The Bowser Wars have completely destroyed the planet.
Exactly.
And that's why
Perfect.
when you go to the outland zones, or
That's
in
why
the
there are all these big
subterranean
gaps
cities,
and stuff like that too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why there's all these subterranean cities. So they're actually detectives in the subterranean cities.
Yes.
And every once in a while they have to go
Go
to like
to
the
surface,
utopian
the really
surface,
high, yeah, which is
to like
which is blown to shit.
which
because
is
of,
in the clouds,
yes,
right? You
and
get
it's
the
blown to
Cloud
shit
City.
because of the Bowser Wars. Yeah,
Yeah, this
makes
is-
perfect sense.
Jeez.
It's all coming together now. And then these turtle people, the turtle like shock trooper people and stuff like that,
They're all
are
just mutants.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. From the
They knock them down, they jump
it's
on
all-
their back,
it's all-
break the shell.
it's all friggin'
And the reason Mario can break the shell is just because he's like a heavy-set Italian guy.
Yeah.
That's why, like, he jumps on their back, cracks the shell open, they bleed out and die. Like, it's like absolutely horrifying what he does.
Oh, what would be even more horrifying is like imagine like the toadstool people are just basically like people who have like become
just
like
they're
a
fungus
rotting.
people.
Yeah, they're like half fungus now.
Mhm.
Like they've
They have big fungus heads.
Oh,
Some
my
of them
God.
aren't fortunate just to have the fungus hat. Some
yeah
of them
no
got,
no
like,
some like
nasty.
some of them can't even move. Some are just like
Yeah.
like stuck in place.
Now, some of the fungus people that only have the fungus head, they can be like the royal servants.
yeah.
But if they're disgusting mutants,
You have to,
then
and that just really shines a light on the whole, the shell that is the Mushroom Kingdom. Is the simple fact that like they hide all these ugly mushroom people, and only the good-looking mushroom people can serve in the kingdom and stuff like that. The whole thing is just a disgusting,
and Mario and Luigi, they work for the princess,
Yeah.
right? And they have to
Mhm.
go down into the depths to solve these mysteries. And when she gets kidnapped, they have to. They're for some reason the only one, just because they're just normal functional humans.
Yeah.
Like-
Plus they already have a working knowledge of most of the subterranean
Yeah.
cities,
They
including
were
the sewer
they
systems
were
and stuff like that.
underground when the wars broke out.
Yes, because they were
Yeah.
actually plumbers
They
at the
were
time.
actually plumbers. That's how they became
They
her
were
her
actually-
special like SS people,
Yeah.
like her special little investigators.
It's like that episode of Futurama where the Leela meets a guy that she thinks is like the last surviving member of her alien race, even though you find
Just
out later that she's a
stupid
mutant. But
shapeshifter.
yeah, but
Shape-
he tells
shifter.
her that like when their world was blowing up and burning to death, he was a pool cleaner. He just happened to be at the bottom of the pool, like getting like a dead raccoon or something out of the bottom, out of the vent or something like that. And it came back up to the surface and everybody's dead. You know, that was Mario and Luigi. Like they just happened to go down this. Like they woke up that morning, and that could be in the flashbacks. Like that could be their origin story. Like the flashbacks. Like they're just like, you see them just like, oh, I hate life. We have to get down here and like work on this fucking sewer, and then they come out and the world's burning.
Is there any way that Ron Perlman could be Mario?
I think Ron Perlman would be a better Bowser, to be quite honest. I think he'd be a fantastic Bowser.
I just can see him doing the narration in the beginning.
Yeah, but why couldn't Bowser do the narration of what happened? Like,
Bowser could be the narrator.
Yeah, he's like, and honestly, like, what if the whole thing
could be a
what if the whole thing
keeper?
is flipped on its ear anyways? What if Princess Peach is actually the villain in this whole thing? Like,
holy shit!
And Bowser takes her, we're
going the way of Elementary here. We're swapping things around. We're breaking new ground.
Of course, Mario and Luigi don't know that because like they're just doing their jobs. They're like, I got a job to do. They're very like gruffy. Just
trying to survive, trying to do the thing.
Oh my God,
this is getting to be quite the story.
Exactly. Well, on that note, I really think we should shut this down. We've got a little over our time, but I thank you guys for listening. Please, if you have any suggestions, anything you think that we could do to improve the nub, grow it, I'm going to start really working on it next month after MegaCon. Let us know. Till then, I'm the Merce.
It's Felton.
And read more comics.
Keep calm and level.
Yeah, that works. Adios.